If you haven't seen the movie yet, here's a link to my spoiler-free review so you don't get anything spoiled. Hello and welcome to the Chomp Down of Batman vs. Superman. Before we get started, spoiler alert, Zack Snyder has confirmed that the character that dies at the beginning of the movie because of the camera tracker is none other than Jimmy Olsen from the comic books. A lot of people know who he is, some people may not, but if you didn't know who it was at the beginning of the movie, that only proves every problem I have with Batman vs. Superman. And that problem is, goddamn, did this movie get cut up in the editing room. Also, this video is strictly my opinion, and please don't shoot me for that. Welcome to Chomp Down Reviews. Here's my real thoughts on Batman vs. Superman. If you disagree with me on anything, let me know. If you hate me, that's fine, but if you did enjoy this movie, I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you to continue to enjoy it, but personally, it didn't live up to my expectations. I didn't enjoy it that much. I feel like 2/3 of the way through it really fell apart, but that's my opinion, and I'm gonna explain why. Why is it as simple as Batman and Superman's mothers having the same name being the resolution? I don't understand why I have to argue why that is so lame. I get that maybe Batman's visions had something to do with Martha being such a big deal. I get that Batman's parents dying is a big deal to him, but Batman throughout this whole movie wants to stop Superman from destroying the world, and his mother's name being Martha is enough to stop that because Bruce's mother's name is Martha too. Like, what? That's just so lame. This fight was 6 minutes long, and that's the resolution we get? This movie's called Batman vs. Superman, and oh man, I feel like Batman would want to save Superman's mother. I feel like he would want to be involved. But oh my gosh, what the hell? It's just like on the spot, his motives change just because it fits the story better. And speaking of motives changing, love Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I think he really could have had a good rap on what was going on with his character. But his character's motives were changing so often in the movie. At first he's scared of this all-powerful being, then he has an issue with God, then he has a bunch of daddy issues, and then at the end of the movie it's like Darkseid has reached to Lex Luthor to get Superman out of the way, and it's like, what? This has changed so much. It was so jittery. It was just like I get he has a twitch, but Senator, how can you trust a guy like that? That's so weird. Oh man. Okay, so Henry Cavill as Superman, he didn't have a bad performance, but man, the characterization of Superman in this movie was so lacking. By the time that Superman died, yeah, Superman died, spoilers, Superman died, and I didn't feel sad. Everyone in the country was in contention about how they felt about Superman. They gave him a hero's death, a hero's funeral, and I'm just like, look, here's my biggest problem with Superman dying. Doomsday was not well developed in this movie. Here's the story about Doomsday, okay? Lex Luthor goes into the old ship that was left by Zod. He takes Zod's body and mixes his own blood with the DNA of a Kryptonian, which creates the Doomsday Monster. Now maybe the ship had some sort of device that made a Doomsday Monster in the first place, but I don't see what human blood has to do with that, and I don't see what mixing Kryptonian DNA and human DNA would do to make a Doomsday Monster that's stronger than Superman. Maybe he's mutated to be physically stronger, but he's so powerful it's like nothing can affect him, except for Kryptonian weapons, which is also the only thing that can affect Superman. Now, Doomsday in the comic book was made of kryptonite, so it makes sense that when he's around Superman, Superman's weaker. But in the movie, Doomsday is just a Kryptonian human hybrid abomination creature, but he still has a weakness to Superman for some reason, enough to be able to stab him through the chest. And while I think it was ballsy to kill Superman, just like it was ballsy to kill Zod, people were upset about it in the first movie, they'll definitely have something to say about it in the second. I could have really gotten behind them killing Superman. I think it could have been really cool to see a Justice League that wasn't led by Superman, and maybe Superman would come back eventually and try to take over the reins. It could be really cool. But the movie ends with dirt rising up from the grave, and Superman's not dead. Superman's Jesus. Did you forget that Superman was Jesus? Did you forget that from Man of Steel, Superman was Jesus? Did you forget? Because it was a lot better hidden in this movie, but geez, was there still a lot of Jesus symbolism in this. And when he's rising up, it's just like, I could have waited for that. I could have waited to think Superman was dead. Maybe Darkseid would bring him back to life and make him some sort of bizarro type of Superman, where he's evil. That could have been cool, but he's already coming back to life at the end of the movie. I don't understand. I don't understand where you're gonna go with this. And a lot of this movie was meant to set up future movies, and I think that's the biggest problem with it. I think if this was just Batman versus Superman and that was what the movie focused on, it would have been a lot better, but it was very much focused on the Dawn of Justice part of this movie. And look, maybe you would rather characters' cameos be in the movie than at the end of trailers, and I get that, that's fine. And in a way, so would I. I think that would be cool if you could integrate them better. But the cameos that we get for future heroes are on a screen, on a laptop screen. Just videos of them, and it was so weak. Except for the Flash, at least I think it was the Flash, coming to Bruce Wayne through time, which is what the Flash usually does, and it was a guy in a red suit, so I have to assume it was the Flash, but we don't really get to see his face. It was hard to make out if it was the actor Ezra Miller's face. There was no mask involved. It was just so hard to tell, and the whole time I'm just squinting. While my favorite superhero is reaching through, getting his cameo in this movie, I'm just squinting, trying to make out his face, trying to figure out if it's even him. It's just, decisions like that really threw me off. The acting in this movie was really great. I really loved all of the Wonder Woman stuff. All of the Batman stuff was like really superb. We got some of the best Batman action fight scenes we've ever gotten in any movie yet. And I think we may have gotten one of the best Bruce Wayne interpretations we've ever gotten yet. Because seeing a 20-year into the fight Bruce Wayne is awesome. Ben Affleck does so good on it. And I'm not surprised that they turned the solo Batman movie into a trilogy at all. His stuff was really on point. But the first thing we do is see Superman murder somebody. He didn't murder all those guys outside of the building in Africa, like he was framed for doing, but he did shoot through that guy who was threatening Lois. Yes, I would have done the same thing, but he definitely murdered that guy. And look, the biggest argument to him killing Zod at the end of Man of Steel was that he was gonna learn the sanctity of life. He was gonna learn that all life is precious, but he didn't. And neither did Batman. Batman never learned this. Through his 20 years, Batman abandoned his love of life, his love of human life, and just starts murdering people. And I was trying to figure out if he was murdering people. He started using guns, but it was in a dream sequence. But he straight up murders the first guy we see him have an interaction with. I'm pretty sure he just mows him down with the gun on the Batmobile. And he crashes into a ton of bad guys. He straight up crashes into the back of a truck and just into the head of one of the cronies. Like, he doesn't care. And that's fine. If you can live with a Batman that murders people, I hope you enjoyed it. But that's not Batman to me. Batman doesn't kill people. At the end of the day, these aren't the characters from the comics. Like, this isn't the comic book Superman, this isn't the comic book Batman. They're so Snyderified. And if you can enjoy that, I really hope you did. I think all the acting in this movie was really great. I want to say Michael Keaton, but Superman's father shows up for like 2 minutes for some reason, and that was weird. There was just so many decisions in this movie that were so weird. And the worst part about this whole movie is that, like, some people clapped when Wonder Woman saved Batman from Doomsday. And I got the urge to get so excited, but I literally already saw that part in the trailer. I saw that whole thing go down. The only difference was that Superman wasn't there. And where was Superman when all of this fighting's going down? Oh my god. He's laying on the ground being drained from kryptonite, and they just have Lois just kissing his face. She's just kissing his face while you see Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday. And, like, maybe, yeah, Superman being a love story with Lois is important. It was important to the story. Lois's character in this movie is so bad. Oh, it's so bad. They're constantly looking for her to do something, and when they finally find something for her to do, she tosses the kryptonite spear in the pool. Look, I thought someone was gonna have to get rid of that kryptonite spear. I was surprised Superman didn't get rid of it. When Lois picked it up and threw it, I was like, maybe she's doing something important. But she throws it in the pool from Age of Ultron that Thor goes in, mind you. She throws it in the pool, realizes somehow that she is gonna need it to kill Doomsday, and then just goes back looking for it and starts drowning and needs Superman to save her. And I'm just like, oh my god, so useless. This whole situation is so useless. But Superman's on the ground being kissed by Lois Lane while Wonder Woman is fighting Doomsday off. And oh, I got the worst feeling inside. It's like, what are you doing? I liked a lot of shots in this movie though. Like when he's flying with the Kryptonian spear, he's having trouble flying. I thought that was awesome. Like I said, I thought all of Batman stuff was awesome. I thought all Wonder Woman stuff was awesome. I really liked when Superman saved Lois from falling. I wasn't sure if he was going to be there, and I thought that the suspense there was really cool. Like, I thought this movie did some cool stuff, but look, you see this thing? This is essentially the climax. Like, just imagine Batman and Superman flying around as this thing's just blowing up everywhere. Like, why did Doomsday have to have some sort of weird neon explosion thing going on? It was just like, how did he get that power? What is going on? What's happening? Oh man. Well, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Batman vs. Superman for sure. I'm gonna have another video coming out soon, pitting Man of Steel versus Batman Begins, finishing up my trilogy on that. So I'd love for you guys to check out that. I'll link all 3 of them. My trilogy is about which movie is a better origin story. And now that I've seen Batman vs. Superman, I can tell how good of an origin story Man of Steel was. And that will be out very soon. So those will all be linked right here. But what was your thoughts on Batman vs. Superman? These are just my raw thoughts put out there, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on my thoughts. So yeah, let me know. Check out my Twitter and tweet me mean things if you think that my opinions are awful. Just no death threats, please. Yeah, no death threats. I could really live without death threats. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon with another Chomp Down review. Later.